Hi, just a quick video on how to get the fuel injectors out of the Jeep Common Rail Diesel. Some of the folks on the forum say that you can do it by hand. You can work them out, rock them back and forth, and then pull using the pipe, the injector pipe as a handle. I couldn't do it, and I was afraid I was going to damage something. So I bought a special tool. This is the fuel injecting removal tool from IDParts. When I bought this, I actually read a review on this, and one of the guys said that it wouldn't work because this gap down here was insufficient at grabbing around the injector, and it wasn't tall enough. And I'm glad I ignored that and went ahead and bought it, because it actually came with two adapters. There must be two different style fuel injectors. This one does fit perfectly and it works perfectly. I've already got number 1 out, so we're going to go ahead and get number 2 out. So this basically cradles the injector. That notch at the bottom fits down where the crow's foot attaches. The crow's foot's removed. We're going to slide this on. Fits perfectly on the injector. Then we're going to put the straddle bracket over it. And the trick is getting this threaded in here, like so. Basically, just use the simple machine of a screw to pull it up on out of the cylinder head. And it just, you can feel it. It pulls it up nice and easy. You're fighting an O-ring that's been disintegrated and combustion deposits over the years that have been collected on the sides of the injector, but I would imagine if you're experiencing some binding here, I would stop. And I did spray some a PB blaster down in the holes to kind of loosen these up, and it's the PB blaster's been sitting down in there for several days while I waited for the part to show up, this tool I should say, and I know that the PB blaster has been working its way down there because it actually is disappearing, so it's dripping past the O-ring into the cylinder. So I know it's getting down in there and doing its job. But this was $89 from IDParts, and it is well worth the money. I mean, I thought I was out here for a few hours trying to wiggle that first injector out, and I didn't want to damage the aluminum casting on the valve cover or the injector itself. So I'm glad I bought these. You can rent them from IDParts, but they want more of a deposit than it actually costs to buy. So I just bought it, and I figured I'll probably be into this engine again at some point. And it's always good to have the tools around, and if anybody's in the Phoenix area and needs to use the tool, you're more than welcome to it. Let's see, keep going here. A little bit more. I think we're good. I'm going to back the tool off now. Let's see what we got here. There she is. So 145,000 miles of combustion deposits, but she came out with relative ease, so we'll move on and do the next one. All right, we're moving on to number 3 here. So again, we have our straddle bracket. It fits right into the injector. Out. Get this threaded down in there. want to make sure you get these threads down into that bracket deep enough that you're not going to just tug on a couple of threads, but you don't want it too far down where you're piercing the top of the injector. So just be careful with that. And here we go. It's important you number these injectors and you put them back in the same way they came out. They are coded to the ECU, so the ECU knows the serial number of each injector and where it goes. I'm not sure why they do that. I'm not sure if it's for copyright type protection and they don't want people sharing injectors, or I'm not exactly sure why they serial code them, but my 3-liter Eco Diesel is the same way. When you swap the injectors with another car, it won't run. You have to code them. I don't know if that's the case here on the CRD. Some folks on the forum say that the coding doesn't matter. The vehicle will run. But if you ping the ECU, it will have serial tags for the injectors in them. So label them when you pull them out and put them back in the same way. I have to decide whether I'm going to send these things out for cleaning and inspection. It's a company in Oregon that does that. And I guess while I have the head off and the head out for machining, it makes sense to have the injectors looked at 155,000 miles. Oops. Oops. A little concerned about number 4 back there. I don't know if I have the vertical height to get in there with this straddle bracket. It's going to be really tight. In fact, I don't think it's going to fit. It's going to be. I think this injector puller was designed to be used with the engine out of the car. So this is going to be interesting. She's there. Okay. It's out. There she is. You can see the groove here that this fits in. Whoops. So it fits just like that. There's a notch here. This is where the crow's feet actually holds it in place. And this is also then what you pull up on. So this is really a perfect tool. Now, number 4 is going to be interesting. So let's see what we can do there. I'm going to go ahead and label this one number 3, and we'll come back and see what happens with number 4. Yeah, just like I thought, this puller will not go back because of the way the firewall and the windshield cowl is. I just can't get it over number 4's fuel injector. So we're going to have to try and do it manual way. And a few days ago when I was trying to pull out these injectors before I bought the puller, I noticed that my crow's foot 24mm, this dimension here, fits right over that square, that flat hex in the injector body, and then the 24mm diameter of this wrench goes right up around the head of the injector, and I'm able to use the crow's foot opening as a twisting action against where the injector line goes in. And I was able to get them to rotate, but I couldn't get enough vertical force on them to pull them out. But in this case, I've got my trusty old tire iron here. We're going to try and get this out. Hopefully you can see this. Maybe I can move this closer. Let's see if that's a little better. So again, 24mm crow's foot. It's going to straddle right down here on that flat spot. I'm going to cradle it up, and it fits right against the head here. And notice the back of the crow's foot is now straddling where the injector line goes in. I'll show you this once I get it out, or if I get it out. And now on this side, I can pry up using a tire iron. I can come in here and gently pry up on the injector as I wiggle. Oh, and there she is. Look at that. Okay, so let's get out. There she is. Ooh, what a mess. Okay, so let me show you this. So again, 24 millimeter crow's foot fits right over here on the flat, and then comes up this way. Sorry. So once again, approach to the flat, and then up. Notice it grabs, and then it straddles where the injector line goes in. This is a perfect, and then you can really get at it and twist it, and then I was able to use that tire iron to pry this up out of there. So 24 millimeter crow's foot, and look at all that crud on there. So all right, we got the injectors out. Now we can pull this valve cover off and see the damage from the rock rungs. This is number 4 injector. I just wiped it off, and someone's been in here before. The O-ring is actually still intact, and there's 2 crush washers back to back, which is a no-no. There's supposed to be 1 crush washer. So this injector wasn't even sitting all the way in the cylinder by the thickness of a copper crush washer. All the other injectors, the O-ring was disintegrated, and there's no sign. I haven't seen any of the copper crush washers yet. I suspect they're still in the head, but we'll find that out soon. But obviously number 4, somebody had this out before, which is probably why it was so easy to get out. So I guess that's good.